Hi, this is Richard Chamberlain, and welcome back to the Protecting Your Family's Future podcast. I'm one of the attorneys with the Legacy Law Group in Perrysburg, Ohio. This is episode number 50 of our show, and before we get started, I want to just celebrate that fact. This is our 50th episode. That means we've been doing this for almost a year on a weekly basis. I want to thank you for joining us and listening to the topics that we talk about on estate planning and estate administration and probate. It's been a great journey so far. I look forward to doing this every week, and I thank you for joining with us, sticking with us. So today we're going to be talking about kind of a big topic. It's one that we get now and then, not a lot, but it is starting to become a bigger issue, and it will become a bigger issue as over the next couple of years. And that is talking about the estate tax. Now, the estate tax used to be, and by that I mean decades ago, a big issue that a lot of people had to be aware of and plan for. Over the years, that has changed. It's become much less of an issue. But as I said, over the next several years, it's going to become a much bigger issue for more people. We're starting to get more questions about it as we're talking with our clients. And so I thought I would cover that in our podcast this week. So first of all, what is an estate tax? The estate tax is a tax that is levied by the government on the estate of a person who has passed away. Now, not every government entity has an estate tax. There are some states that do not. For example, the state of Ohio does not currently have an estate tax. If a decedent died on or after January 1 of 2013, so more than 10 years ago, the state of Ohio does not impose an estate tax. Similarly, the state of Michigan does not have an estate tax. But the federal government still does have an estate tax. It just really doesn't apply to very many people currently. So the estate tax works pretty much like this. If you have an estate, and that is all of your property, however it's valued, wherever it is, whatever kind of property it is, if you have an estate, a tax is levied on that estate. But everybody gets an exemption, an amount that they say, well, we're not going to tax the estate that is below this level. And then we will tax the property that is above that level. So currently, in 2023, that federal estate tax exemption amount is $12.92 million per person. The tax rate, if you have an estate above $12.92 million, is somewhere between 18 and 40% on a sliding scale. So if someone is married, then the spouses can double that exemption. So for 2023, a married couple can exempt up to $25.84 million. So in our area of the country, not a lot of people have that concern. However, in January of 2026, the law will revert back to the estate tax exemption levels that existed prior to 2018. That is, unless Congress makes some kind of changes in the federal estate tax law between now and then. So at the time when the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was enacted back in 2018, the federal estate tax exemption was $5 million per person. Now, we will revert back to that level, but the amount will be adjusted for inflation at that time. So we're probably looking at somewhere between $6 million and $7 million as an exemption amount if the law is not changed prior to January 1 of 2026. So if a married couple, we could be looking at $12 million to $14 million exempted under that possible future law. And I say that possible future law because who knows what Congress will do between now and then. They might not do anything, in which case the exemptions will reduce, or they might make the change and have the exemptions stay the same or reduce to a different amount. There's just no way of knowing what Congress will do, and they can act right up to the very last minute. So it is a difficult thing to kind of predict what the laws will be. It's difficult to plan how to prepare your estate for possible estate tax imposition. Suffice it to say that if you have an estate in excess of $25 million, you need to do something about your estate taxes now. If you have an estate that will be somewhere between $12 and $14 million, this is assuming you're a married couple, half that if you're a single person, then you need to do something now for the possible estate tax that will be in effect in 2026. So, of course, all of these issues are state specific. So if you are in Ohio or Michigan, you don't need to worry about a state estate tax, but where you are, you might have a state estate tax you need to worry about. And so you should consult with an attorney in your area about state estate taxes. But the federal estate tax applies to all states. And so everyone needs to be aware of these issues and plan their states accordingly. So I hope that's helpful for you. I know it's a lot of numbers and kind of convoluted and kind of guesswork at this point, what's going to happen in the future, but knowing what it could be will be helpful to you, I hope. If you have any questions about planning your estate and what's going to be appropriate for you, if you're in Ohio or Michigan, we can help you do that. Just reach out to us. The contact information is in the show notes. Thanks for being with us today, and we will see you again next week. Thanks.